Tate speech.
Top G.
Well, what do you guys think of Andrew Tate?
I don't mind Andrew Tate. I just don't really like his followers. I really don't have a problem with Andrew Tate. I think if you are a successful man who does well and you understand the dynamics of men and women, he's become Muslim now as well, which is, I'm Muslim, so anyone that becomes Muslim, I'm like, go on then. I don't have a problem with him. He's obviously speaking from his own lived experience, and this is how he gets women to behave around him. But he is a successful man. He works out. He's got money. He's got all of these things, so he can talk with his chest. What I don't like is that nobody kind of guy that follows him and then starts adopting all of his values and starting having this really angry attitude towards women and be like, and that's what it almost.
You think he's angry?
Not him, but I think his followers are.
What's Andrew Tate's values to you?
What do you mean by that?
No, because you said they adopt his values. So.
Okay, values as in like, women aren't like, this is how you should treat women. This is what women like. This is how you get them to submit. This is what you do. But you can get that level of submission when you're that level of guy. But if she's not submitting to you, you're either aiming too high or you're not successful enough as a man.
Yeah, but then he says, get more successful.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Do you think it's okay for him to say, yo, make a fuck ton of money so you can fuck a lot of hoes?
Yeah, no, but I think
cool?
the fact that the guys are taking on what he's saying about women, but not taking on what he's saying about business and earning potential and working out and paying for women and all these things.
I think a lot of them do.
Do you think so? The ones I see in his comments are I just don't. I see it as like just people. If you did have a lifestyle like Andrew Tate, you wouldn't be so angry against women. A man that's angry against women can't get women to submit to them, and that's what fuels their anger. So I feel like
I don't think they're angry. I think they just have standards. Like I mean, we're talking in general, right? I just think they say things like they don't want a girl with a low body count. They don't want a girl that's fat. They don't want to.
But men who got it like that don't need to say it like that.
Yeah, so
you know, the men that have it, the men that I know that have these standards never need to vocalize it and never need to watch a podcast on it.
It's interesting. I would agree with you, but I've met good-looking guys that make good money that have left the U.S. to go to a different country, and they just say it's better.
Yeah, I can
They say I'll get 2 matches in the U.S. and then I'll get 130 in Poland.
Right.
Polskis.
Yeah, I guess the culture of the women makes it really difficult to submit. But I genuinely think when you are a man of value, you don't need to follow any man telling you what to do. And also, you don't have an angry attitude towards women. Women's, just like when you're a woman of value, when you're a woman who gets men treating her well, you're not screaming men are trash. You're not angry against men. You don't have those attitudes because to you, men have always been good. Similarly, if you find men with high value, they don't experience these type of women who are running games on them, cheating on them, talking out the side of their mouth to them. They don't experience that.
Are you kidding? Are you mad? Look at. Okay. The number one. Stop. The number one reason. We can agree, NBA players get bitches, right? The number one reason they go broke is getting the wrong bitch pregnant.
Yeah, because they choose badly. But if you're a man of high standards, you don't choose badly. Yeah. The vetting process.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, but a high value man has a good vetting process.
I think that's taking
the worst.
but then he's not high value.
No, so
a high value man has a just like you were saying.
He's not high value because he picked the wrong woman.
No, but just like you were saying, nice girls don't get with bad boys. Men of value can spot a thought from a mile off, and it's that simple. You can spot a thought. That's one of your skills as a masculine man. Alpha men don't tolerate promiscuity.
I think
they don't have promiscuous women in their lives.
The new thoughts. They're undercover, bro. No. Do you know why?
I'm sorry. Okay. Let's
you can spot a thought.
Okay, what is a thought?
Promiscuous.
Okay, but at what point? At what point? How many bodies? How many bodies?
Whatever's your level.
How many bodies?
I would say. I mean, I've got.
Because by 19,
so I've got a very different version.
0 bodies.
0 minus figures.
No, I'm saying like 1950s 40 standards. It's like 2.
got a very different standard because of my culture and my religion, so I can't really speak on other people. I really can't. But what I would say is one of the definitions of an alpha man is you don't tolerate promiscuity and you vet women before they come into your world. You don't let any old riffraff in your house. And if you do, then you're not high value. Just because you got money and you got status, that in itself is not enough. You've got to have levels to it. And the levels to it is you don't let any riffraff in your home.
I agree with you on the point that, you know, I do think men should vet women.
Yeah.
And I do think men should have high standards. Yeah. Where I disagree with you is I think it's silly to say that a girl can't trick a guy.
I think
even if he's alpha, even if he's high value, even if he has this and this,
do you think you can can you trick a good woman?
What? Yeah. You was talking about all the
good women do get tricked all the time.
I agree. Yeah, you can.
So what I would say is if you have, especially with these NBA players, most of their women have like their bodies out on Instagram and then this, that, and the other, and this, and then they, and then if you can't spot from that, then you are not high value.
What about like Tom Brady's wife,
Giselle?
Do you think she was a walking red flag?
I just think Victoria's Secret, it depends what you, thing is, again, my values are a little bit skewed because I'm Muslim, but the thing is, if your woman sells her body and that's her primary source of income, she's going to have more liberal values. And when you bring a woman with liberal values into your home, you have to expect liberal outcomes. That's all. So even Tom Brady, you're dating a Victoria's Secret model who makes her money out of her body. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you've got to recognize with that comes different types of values. And so,
So do you think then he's not alpha?
Yeah, you lose your alpha.
What?
He's
not.
So you're saying, wait. So you think
alpha.
Tom Brady is not high value?
Any man who allows promiscuity and that kind of to mother his children, I don't believe is alpha, because alpha men are so protective. They're so possessive. They don't even risk the idea of cuckoldry, the idea of their woman having potential. This is, if we're talking evolutionary psychology sense, the alpha man in the pack is my woman can never go with another man because I'm not wasting my money or my resources on somebody else's kid. Now, if you take that risk in any way, shape, or form, you lose some of your alpha.
Oh, but you got to remember, babies happen as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it could just be like one of your side things, a girl that you're banging, and baby happens.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I actually think that you're minimizing the fact that we live in a different society. So women in the Western society have a different mindset than women elsewhere. Yeah. So what you're saying would work in so many other places in the world, but it wouldn't work in the West.
Yeah, maybe because I'm from Pakistan, and in my culture, if you even have one body count, you're a write-off. You're just a write-off, and it's that. And any man that does go with you, he's then seen in a lower way. So maybe my mentality is obviously skewed from that, but I can still think it applies even when you're.
I mean, a guy can get a perfect girl. Like she could be a virgin, and she could still turn she could still turn 28. She could still turn 28, 29 and say, oh, you know what, the last 10 years I've been missing out and leave him.
But chances are less.
You're right. The chances are less. You're right. The chances are less. But then does that make that guy not alpha? That doesn't make sense.
The thing is, he did say if he took a 21-year-old who then decided at 28 to become, whatever she wants. He did his vetting by choosing when he chose her, he chose right. But if you're choosing a girl at 22 who's been, doing the most, and then wanting her to become a wife, you lose your alpha because part of your alpha is foresight. You can spot what's going to be the good mother of your child. If you don't have that foresight, you lose your alpha.
Yeah. I just think you're minimizing men's experiences by making it that that broad.
How come when it came to the women?
Because women are born with value. Men must create it. Yeah. And so like a woman loses her value when she dates a bad boy. Right. But a man doesn't lose his alpha just because he picked the wrong girl.
I think for me, if I'm dating a guy and I see that his ex was, maybe had a really promiscuous past, I can't fuck with him. Because you got standards that aren't my level. Because you'll go for anyone then, and I lose.
But I think in Brady's case, like
there's a lot of girls that
for me
that won't date Drake now. Because
I wouldn't date a guy that's been been with a certain girl because I'm just like, that's your level, because that's your level. You
wouldn't date Drake.
I don't know if Drake would date me.
That's not what see, and that was all I needed to know. That was all I needed to know.
Does want to date
no.
me.
Why you had a guy? See, you just explained.
I'm joking.
He just proved my point.
No, but it's not. You know what? It's okay because you like the thing about us here is
dating Drake. No, personally, I don't think any woman. It depends what kind of woman she is, but personally, if you're a woman that's looking for a long-term relationship, there's no point dating Drake.
So.
No, but that's not you saying I wouldn't date him. You're saying I wouldn't date him because he's not looking for something serious.
I wouldn't date him because it makes no sense to. It would just be a body count.
Long term.
Well, you see, that's
more entrenched in your cultural values, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. You're not saying I wouldn't date him. You're saying I wouldn't date him because he wouldn't take me long term.
I wouldn't date anyone where I can't see that person settling down and creating a life with me. Why would I date you?
But the reason why Drake is probably a bad boy is because he's going to tell you that he's going to be there for the long term and you're going to believe it.
But even Drake's baby mama was a porn star and stuff. To me, that makes him lose value.
No, but you still would date him, so he didn't lose too much value. No, and that's the thing. Like, yeah.
But this is why, this is what I used to think a lot like you.
Yeah.
But this is why, a lot of times men will say, don't take dating advice from women because we don't even know what we want.
But do you think a man who's got a past of women that are all promiscuous or whatever it is, say if you go out and they're a certain way, all of his exes, does that not put you off him a bit?
No, but you moved the goalpost. We was talking about one relationship, and now you're talking about anyone that's got a past of making bad choices is a bad choice, man or woman, right? Yeah. So if a man, if all these exes are strippers or like, even, you know what I mean, or if they all cheat on escorts, then you're just kind of looking at the type of guy. If all the guys,
to say Tom Brady is an
alpha,
like what?
Do you know why she left him?
Stop
Do you know why
it.
she left him? She left him because he said he wanted to go back and get another ring. That's why she left him, and she wanted him to retire and now to be at home. But you have to understand, your job as a woman is you've picked. Hold on a second. You've picked one of the top percents of athletes. Like you're not going to get another Tom Brady. It's like having a LeBron James. And then he said, you know what? I'm not ready to go yet. I still got some more fight in me. So you said, you know what? I wanted to retire, so I want to now divorce you. That's a selfish thing because your job as a wife is supposed to support him. His career isn't finished. You might have thought it was finished, but it isn't finished. He's still got more to give. So you divorce him because you say that, you know what? This is not what we agreed, and I want to be able to start to live my life. That's a selfish. You know what? As soon as she dated Leonardo DiCaprio, you should have known anyway, man.
But do you think, for example,
I should have known.
She's alpha widow.
Yeah, she's alpha widow, man.
What do you think about men who take pictures of their women that are making OnlyFans and they're the ones filming it for her to post?
Yeah,
that's wild behavior.
I'm asking you what you think.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's relevant. I'm asking what you think about it. Does it reduce his masculinity?
Well, of course.
Having a promiscuous woman does what? Reduces your masculinity.
So have you you've equated to just picking a woman that you might break up with to having her doing OnlyFans and taking pictures of her booty on the beach?
Just generally having association with promiscuous women reduces your alpha.
The point is you keep moving the goalposts.
Yeah, I'm confused.
But also, I don't think it reduces his masculinity because I think a man who posts pictures of his woman online is a pimp. So there are pimps that are still alphas.
Is Andrew Tate not masculine?
That's where he is.
I don't think he'd marry a woman that would be posting or having an OnlyFans and stuff. And if he did, it still, to me, it would reduce your masculinity. Part of masculinity isn't just money and appearance. It's also protectiveness of your women.
That's an interesting that pimps are very masculine.
I'll tell you why. I'll explain to you why. Because the truth is, really and truly, the most successful pimps are a different archetype of man. So most times a pimp has full control over that woman. So that's a masculine trait in some ways, which is now labeled toxic masculinity, right?
Yeah, but the thing
that's like the extreme of masculinity.
But you're looking at it from men can lose their alpha.
Absolutely,
but that's at a different women are. You're looking at it from a woman's point of view because women have value and they lose it. If a man is in the top 2% of men, 1% of men, I don't think he can lose his. I don't think Drake loses. Wait, let me finish. I don't think Drake loses his alpha because he's fucked a lot of hoes. And I think you maybe in your culture, you personally, but I don't think most girls are gonna have any issue dating Drake because he had a baby with a corn star.
No, but with evolutionary psychology, which defines the whole of the time, part of masculinity is providing and protecting. Protecting means protecting her from other men. That's what protecting means in masculine terms. And when you have a promiscuous woman, that means you either she's promiscuous before or after you, whatever it is, that protection element isn't there enough. And that's what I mean by that, because if you cannot be a masculine man without that protective quality, you can't can't. A man that doesn't protect women is not masculine. Now, part of that protection is making sure no other man can access that woman because that's my womb, that's my baby, that's my oven. Now, if you don't exercise with that mentality, you lose your masculinity. It's how human nature is defined.
I think your view is kind of skewed due to your cultural.
I was thinking we live in the UK.
I know.
Like,
I'm talking biologically.
cultural.
Let's talk biologically. Let's take my religion out of it. If we're talking about men living in prehistoric evolutionary times, let's take even before that.
He's protecting all the hoes.
Yeah, but let's say for example we live in a jungle society, and you need to make sure that you're getting resources for your kids and only your kids. If you got a woman that's doing the most, you could be feeding kids that aren't yours. So you won't survive. Your survival is reduced.
Yeah, but they're biologically predispositioned to spread their seed to everybody,
but not to look after everybody else's kid.
I mean, they don't want to look after
any kid.
Yeah. So that's why you don't choose a promiscuous woman.
I don't think they should choose a promiscuous woman. What I'm arguing with you is you say because someone chooses the wrong woman, they're not alpha.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like
you lose your alpha.
But again, babies happen, right?
Yeah,
so
babies can happen.
So it doesn't mean you lose your alpha male status because you've breeded up the wrong girl. Do you know what I mean?
Look, Pearl, if a woman has the baby by the wrong guy, she's a feminine woman. She's still a feminine woman now.
As many of you know, I was just banned on TikTok, and we are demonetized on a daily basis on this platform. If you want to help, please consider sending a super thanks below. Every donation helps, and it helps make what we do possible.